Hey everybody, welcome back. We're doing another Marvel Future Revolution video. I've been asked recently some stuff about storage. What am I keeping? What am I getting rid of? So this is sort of a dive into that, and I'm hoping to cover just a little bit of a companion thing with a shout out to Callista, who had a good, found a good idea as far as what to do with some shards because of stats, etc. So we might get into that. Otherwise, if it's too long, we'll get that in another video. So anyway, if you're new to the channel, check Discord link in the description below. Hammer down like buttons, click notification bell, subscribe if you like. Trying to build up the channel. Comment below, let me know what you think as far as how you store stuff, what you are keeping or not keeping, or do it on Discord. Either way, love to hear from you guys about that stuff. All right, so now let's just go check out what exactly I'm doing here.
Bring me WolverThor!
So the question was asked of me, what exactly am I keeping? How am I knowing what to store? That sort of thing. Now, I did have another storage management type video. I'm not going to get into the same thing as that. There might be a little bit of overlap, but I figured, you know what? I can at least show kind of where I'm at in game at the moment with different stuff. But yeah, I figured it might help some people. So first off, on my main character is Black Widow. On her, I always keep my highest level enhancers, the next purple level enhancers. I actually have some blue ones on her. Sometimes I actually do use those. I really only use those for like a mega war type situations, and I pick and choose which ones I use based on what the war is going to be like. If it's a very close, intense one, then I'll drop the biggest ones. And I don't actually use them all. You can see like on this particular build, and actually let me double check here. I think it's my PvE build, but if I'm in PvP and my crit, actually that was what I had a different piece that I was using before that. This is my PvP build. I had a lot of crit damage on one of my builds that I recently changed because I got a new Midgardia piece that I was able to bring up because I got some accuracy. But before that, I wouldn't be using my crit enhancers. So make sure that when you're using these enhancers, that you're thinking about what stats you have and you're not using them to go over a certain cap, right? Now, it's really just crit damage is really the one that I'm most thinking about. I don't think a lot of people get to any point where they're even looking at the other stats. Also in here, obviously, anything that I've got for specialization. I've got some of my token stuff. New event things, you know, these type of things, which I don't intentionally keep those. But what you'll notice is I've got a lot of things in here that are sort of missing. It's like, well, how do you only have 389 convergium, etc.? Get to that in a second when I look at storage. I really only keep the badges I'm wearing. Same thing with cores. I really only keep something that I might equip. This one, it just hurts so bad. Same thing here. I keep only what I'm wearing. This one, I'm just remembering that I want to build it up so that I can nano it. I keep that in there. So that's all I keep internally. Now, when I go to my storage, right now what I do is you can see that I've got some mats in here that I want to make sure I don't accidentally dismantle some of these. So I just leave them in storage and then I'll bring them over whenever I craft. It's just me being paranoid. I don't think everybody needs to do that. I'm leaving this companion thing in here. I'm okay with my companions where they're at the moment. They're not great. I think I have 1 4-star, so I'm nowhere near having, you know, high levels. But, you know, I just want to see what the future holds. You know, we got a magic pack coming up. We got patches in the future. And I'm okay with my companions. So I'm just kind of storing those. Sometimes I'd be a little bit of a hoarder. As far as these go, the badges, I try to keep in here my different levels so that I can potentially combine them. I do not keep 4 stars or below. There's no point to that. Just take those to the convergence box, dump them in there. Even with the 5-star ones, depending honestly, like there's a chance I might just use those in the convergence box as well. And the rest of these, they're literally just for me, for my alts to use. That's it. That's the only reason I have those there. Cores, I drop them all in here so that I've got a bunch of them that, you know, I might use, I might not use. When I get a certain amount of these, you can see what defense pierce, crit damage, defense pierce. Yeah, so, you know, I wanted to make sure that I had enough of these to fill my badges. So when I get to the point where I have a good number of these, where it's like, look, I've got plenty of coverage here, I'll combine those to try to get a 5-star, and same thing to eventually get to a 6-star. And that's how I got that yellow piece. And then with gear, this is just honestly, like it's just everything. Anything I'm not using. So you can see, I of course leave all of my sort of regional or specials in here. With the Black Friday deals, I got a ton of specials that I don't really use a lot, which is why I changed my look for a little bit. I'm like, well, I'm not going to wear this Rise of the East because the stats aren't great, but maybe I'll wear that look for a little bit, which is kind of fun. So most of these are my special regionals, and then anything else that I've got in here, I think this is the Marvel Studios. I got a bunch of those, but I'm not using them. The rest of them are just fodder that I'm going to use, that I'll use to crunch into whatever I want to build for a nano of something. You can see here, this is when I'm not going to nano. I wish you could, by the way, lock stuff in storage. Just a little tidbit for Netmarble there. I want to keep this one. I'm not going to nano this or use it as nano fine art. I don't know. There's just a 4 crit roll or crit damage just feels like it might be useful at some point. So that's what I keep in my own personal storage on my main tune. Now, you got to remember, you got all these different tunes, right? So I actually use a lot of my other characters for keeping a bunch of different stuff. So it's sort of like, okay, if you're gonna, have these other storage areas, you don't need to use a bunch of, you don't need to expand their storage all that much. So for this one, actually, let's make sure to show, let's just look at her inventory because you don't need to see it. So she's just got some random stuff in here I've dropped. I should honestly be dropping, this should be going over to my actual storage so that I can bring it over to my main. These are probably just what she's wearing and some stuff she picked up through running. I was questing with her last night with Obi Jam. Shout out to my boy Obi. Just in Dark Domain. And then, yeah, this is just some of her gear that I got. It's locked because it's regional and maybe I'll need it at some point. It looks like I picked a yellow quest up. I use that for fodder for things. And I didn't show this on the other one, but cards, another storage thing. I just leave a lot of my cards in here. Some of them are, and you know what? I'm actually going to pick up one of these. Let's see, total damage. I'm gonna use one of these on her. Someone brought up that you could use that on any character that's actually leveling. So a little random tidbit that I'm throwing in here for your Omega cards is if you get that specific Iron Man card, I'd heavily consider maybe putting it on a character that you're going to use for leveling. So now I've got that, so it'll kill mobs a little bit easier. All right, so that was one character, so now I'll jump to the next. All right, we got Storm here. Again, regular gear. She's actually got nothing, right? So she just got whatever I've had on her. I'm not really playing her that much at all, really. So now let's jump to the next to see if I've got anyone on them. Doctor Strange is actually the one I'm currently doing the Dark Zone quest on to get that book. And again, you don't see a lot here. All the stuff that's in here is just trash that I've been getting from the Dark Zone when I bring him in there. That's it. Nothing special on him. I know. I want to add that I used to, with all these other heroes, I used to use them as a giant spot to hold a bunch of cores, a ton of badges. Once the badge crafting came into play, I got rid of a whole bunch of stuff. Some of it I probably shouldn't have, honestly, but kind of is what it is. Spider-Man, same thing. He doesn't really have a lot on it. It looks like I've got some of the lower level pots that I'll use those when I bring up like a new character like Magic. And then we'll check out the last couple. Star-Lord we got, he's the same thing. It looks like I got a couple tokens that I've dropped on him. People are talking about, what are you using with your Green Goblin? Or what are you using with your Dormammu's? Or, maybe your Thanos tokens or something like that. Look, I know you can dismantle these, but until we know if events are coming back, I'm kind of keeping them. Again, I've got the space for it, so it's like, why not? I used to keep cores on Star-Lord, but obviously I flopped that out. And then I think Captain America, I'm done leveling. I don't think I have anything on him either. Iron Man is the character that I'm currently in the process of leveling from 0 to 100. So I've got, whatever you would have on a leveler there. Captain America, and you can see I haven't used any of the potentials either, just because I don't know Captain America well enough, and I haven't, decided exactly what route I want to take him. So I just leave him in my storage. It's fine. And anytime I'm thinking about what skills to level up, honestly, with the cards that I drop on them, they can get through the leveling just fine. So I wouldn't stress about figuring exactly out what to do with those alts or anything like that. And then last but not least, like I said, my Iron Man, he's got a ton of gear on him. What I'll do with all of this gear is I more than likely will take it and put it towards my main and craft something so that I can use that piece for nano on Widow. And that's one of the things where people, talk sometimes about, they wanting more characters to level. you know, look, for me, it's not, there's not a lot there that I can actually do, because if I do, there's not enough stuff in the game to actually level each character to a usable function. So you can see on him, I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm actually, you know, building up. He's got a bunch of enhancers. They just get these from quests and things. I think it's fine. The potential, you know, all of these classified datas, blueprints, and research logs. Depending when he gets to a certain level, I'll either get the Widow ones and bring them over here, or I'll take these and put them on the Widow, which is my main, and then make sure I get those points. So that's what I do with my sword. Those are the things that I think are worthy of keeping. You know, the biggest thing is badges. You know, you could see on him, I've got, you know, what levels are these? You know, 50s, was this 30s? I just do every 20 at this point. This one I don't even have one for. It's just a whatever. So you don't need to stress all that much about keeping. I had so many badges in my storage for so long. You really don't need to do that. It's just, I mean, again, I keep the 110s because as my characters get to 105 and 110, I will drop these on them so that they always have something on them if I'm using them for something. And then basically from 90 down, they're just badges that I've got so that when I'm leveling a character up. But again, you know, this character, we can check out my actual mega cards. I'm not sure what I got here. You know what I could do with this guy too is I could put on a villain damage card, right? So anybody you're leveling, okay, if you've got this card, which again, I get, it's pretty terrible. You know, bring it over and use it for leveling. And that's absolutely what I'll do. So that's sort of how I use my storage. That's the stuff that I'm keeping. You know, even for cards, it's kind of like, you know, you got to think about what you want to keep and use. Like I'm looking at these, it's like, all right, they're all super villain damage, sort of looking to see which one was maybe the worst one, and then I'll just equip that, you know what I mean? And that's what I'll use, and then I'll drop the other one into card storage. And you know, I don't know what is gonna, I've seen cards change so much that I try to make sure to keep decent things. You know, there's a defense pierce in here. Max damage rate, I think at some point, if you were getting rid of your max damage rate cards, I would recommend not doing that at this point. Keep these. I think it's going to be a stat at some point you are very much going to care about. Same thing with total damage. I could see you wanting to keep those. You know, of course, I've got no common cards in here. All this stuff that's smaller, it's super villain damage based. Crit rate, a lot of supervillain damage, even though you don't really need that many cards to get to a max supervillain damage. 2, maybe 3 cards, but I'm keeping the rest of these just in case I'm gonna go put them on another character. And the way I bring them up is if it doesn't get to the roll that I want at 6-star, I use that to re-roll a bad 6-star, and then I'll bring up another one instead of like constantly re-rolling on one card, because that's a waste of stuff. So that's what I'm doing with my storage. Hopefully this is helpful to beginners, intermediate, and endgame players. I like to put these videos out every once in a while. If you did like what you see here, hammer down like button, click notification bell, subscribe. Always appreciate that stuff. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.